What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Civilization 5. Oh wow, my voice just decided to crack at the worst moment. Yeah. But on this channel, we don't do outtakes. It's all real, all natural, one take, unless something goes horribly wrong. Welcome back to the AI only battle. Interesting start to this one. It's been going really well. Hopefully you guys have all been enjoying it. There's plenty of action. Greece wants to embargo Spain. That's quite an interesting one. We'll see how that pans out. But yeah, we're back with another episode. The last one hasn't gone out yet. I did ask for a few comments on that one. But obviously it hasn't gone out yet, so it doesn't matter for now. I'll keep doing what we were doing. I think it wasn't too bad last time. I think we got 25 minutes again. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, this is what just happened. Oh, I missed that. Oh, that was it. Okay, France completes the Manhattan project, and that's surprising. I thought there was maybe it's just not that big a deal anymore. I think a lot of civs have it now. But there you go. France still doing pretty well, by the way. I don't know. There's a chance they're in the top 10 at the end. I don't think they're quite there at the moment. But obviously, civs will die. Some will get weaker. Like, it's probably going to happen. Like, as long as they don't die themselves, right? Obviously, Austria could maybe take them out or something. The Ottomans v Greece. That's a bit of an indictment of where Greece are at right now. I think Greece will kill the Ottomans. But there you go. Greece is obviously at war with Austria. Plus some others hopped in. Like, there's some other big nations. Russia's obviously in. And I think Assyria. No, not Assyria. Somebody else is in. Not Assyria. But there's some other nations in. But they're not as important. Like, they're big, but they just can't get over here. Like, Portugal, I think, jumped in for no real reason. Somebody like that. But yeah, Greece, I think they'll be fine. It depends. Obviously, this is a mess from Russia and Austria. Neither of them want to take it. I don't know why. But there you go. There shouldn't be anything preventing it. It does look like Argos here is going to fall first. Obviously, Austria's just taken Bern off Switzerland for the second time, and it looks like they are actually going to hold on to it this time, which is pretty nice for them. Not so good. Not so good for Switzerland. Obviously, losing the holy city will be quite a painful one. It's going to hurt their religion no end, but that sucks, I guess, but not much to do with that. Right, who is it? What's it? Oh, I forgot this was going on. The Huns grabbing the northern Armenian city, and now there's just one Armenian city remaining. Attila's got plenty of ways, plenty more options to squeeze his units in now, and I think this will probably be the elimination of Armenia. And in the end, it's going to be a great pickup for Attila to get these cities. It's going to be very useful. He got 13 pop down here, 8 in the north. If he can get Yerevan as well, he's going to have some good cities, and he's going to be a lot stronger for it. He's got some very important spots on the map, obviously with Constantinople as well. He's the main player in the Black Sea now, I guess. Assyria's not really here yet. As long as these cities are puppets, it's Attila. Maybe Assyria could compete with him, although they have a lot less cities on the Black Sea. They're also not puppets. I mean, this one is. No, this one isn't. It's occupied, but not puppet. And Constantinople, that is now fully working for Attila, so that's pretty useful for him. Russia, again, it's just a puppet. That doesn't really count. And the Goths aren't that strong. Morocco, again, another one of those civs joining against Greece. How are you doing, Carthage? 2 population. If someone put a gun to your head and said, build a unit to save your civilization, I don't know if an archaeologist is the one. I assume they had that before, but to be honest, I don't think they did. So I think the first thing they genuinely built was an archaeologist. I guess if you have a landmark, maybe that's worth it, but I don't know. Don't know if that is the tier 1 level strategy right there. There you go, Morocco once again retaking Cartagena. It'll probably fall to Portugal again. I think. Yep, there you go. Very next person to have their go. Switzerland is the next civ to complete their Manhattan project, which is funny because they still have galleasses that have merged with worker boats that are blatantly nicer. That's Switzerland, just staying passive, staying out of those wars. Well, sort of. Actual, like, Switzerland has fallen. But beyond that, we'll ignore that. Oh my goodness, Attila. You put all of that work, and you're finally going to have your great moment, and then you're just like, no, we'll leave you alive a little bit. So there's still a small Armenia. There's still a big red blob. It's pretty big, separating the Huns and Assyria for the most part, but now it's obviously a little bit smaller. So Attila grabs some territory. The Soviets putting more pressure, onto Stockholm. This could be pretty big. We'll see where this leads to. Great Britain not putting as much pressure on. I don't think they're that interested. They're at war. No. They were at war with Belgium, but that ended when Austria killed them. I don't know what Britain are doing. I guess they're just not that interested. Maybe Russia or the Soviets probably just paid them to join or something. I don't know, distraction sort of thing. There you go. Austria with an atomic bomb in Copenhagen, just to ominously overlooking this big battle of Scandinavia. Sure they'll be watching, looking for their opportunities. I can't imagine Norway doesn't join in at some point, even if it's to defend Sweden. But like they've got to get involved surely, or go after somebody. Also, an interesting war option would be Norway. Just go after Portugal while they're busy. Just quickly grab this island. There's a few units around the sea. I guess it would be like a pretty big battle in the Atlantic. They both have a fair few units out this way. Oh, you might lose these islands. Maybe not, if you want to keep them. Portugal, these are all destroyers, none of which can actually do anything. So they are just taking unnecessary damage against all these planes and stuff. So that's fun. What happened here? I think Greece was... Okay, heritage sites were not passed. But Spain was embargoed. Sorry, Spain. All that money down the drain. All your trade routes are gone. There's no city-states in this game. I mean, it could probably work on this map with city-states. It might actually be better than having more civs, because the only reason I don't use city-states ever is, one, they do take quite a while to load. I guess it's because they all go as one. But the bigger issue is mainly that obviously some civs benefit from them more. Obviously, it hurts some civs. Austria is one that should struggle with no city-states, and they normally do. They've done well this time, though. But there's Venice is the obvious one. I always use them to spectate because, you know, there's no point putting them in on their own. It's very unlikely they'd do it. If I gave them some extra military units, maybe, but even then, I don't think it's particularly fair to put Venice in, because, you know, some of the civs get really bad, you know, reputations from losing all the time. Carthage has definitely got one at this point. I think the rest, some of them are not too bad. The Vandals as well, but I think that's just because I always put them together. Maybe I should move them a little bit, try and push one along or something, but neither of them particularly have good history in when I've used them. Trying to think of other civs who have a terrible reputation, but I mean, Polynesia's another one, but that's kind of expected, right? I probably should spare them from it as well, but, you know, I put them in whenever I alter the map, and I'm like, there's a chance. But yeah, Venice, I just save them the embarrassment and spectate as them, and it also is easy, because if I pick someone else to spectate as, it might be someone's favourite civ. Becomes a bit of a mess. So if I just do Venice every time, it works perfectly. Has the least influence. But yeah, city-states, I don't do them on world maps because you can't pick the city-states, and it's you'll normally get 2 in Europe for every one across the rest of the map. That's just how it is. And Europe is already seriously congested. Maybe I could try it where I put them on and then like put no civs in Europe and just see if you get a Europe full of city-states, but yeah, I mean, or maybe just use like just the very, very basic ones as I used to on that world maps, like Spain, Rome, to be Italy, Germany, France, England. The world map doesn't really have it. Scandinavia's not that great. I only throw Sweden in if I need to. You know, Russia. Probably even get rid of Poland at that point, and then maybe I'd probably throw in Greece, and then one of probably the Ottomans, although I prefer now to put in Byzantium just because they do spawn in Constantinople, and if you put the Ottomans alone, they don't settle it, it's a bit of a mess. But yeah, that's mainly why city-states aren't here. I can have a play around with it, but I say it's just really random. Obviously I could probably kill them, but then it's just a bit of a mess all around. And then I can't add more, right? So it's still got, even if I kill the ones in the bad places, I've still got to have enough elsewhere. And then, yeah, civs like, I guess it would be nice for Venice, Austria, Greece is another one, I think. It might be attacking city-states, I think, but their ability is still catered towards city-states. Some of those civs. Sweden just completed the Manhattan Project, so the Soviets better hurry up with this invasion. It's not going great, but most of Sweden's boats are dead now. So that's pretty big. And they also have a ton of jet fighters. Not that useful for sieging, but I guess they might be doing some stuff, just helping out. Air sweeps. Well, you don't even need to air sweep if you don't have jet bombers, or bombers in general. I don't know why they're called Stalinist units. I guess maybe they couldn't put Soviet units? I don't know. Maybe that's the way to say it. Interesting. Let's have a look at the biggest cities in the world. I haven't done that for a while. Please don't crash the game. There we go. Right, Portugal, Lisbon is now the leader. I think that's shot up a little bit. I don't think that was always in first. So Lisbon leads the way on 34. There's quite a few 30s here. Dongola from Mercuria is at 32. Asher from Assyria is at 31, as is Stockholm from Sweden. Leningrad in the Soviet Union. I'm just going to click next turn and come back to this. And the Garamantes declared war on Greece. Well, yeah, this is going to fall straight away, and I don't know if any more will fall. The Garamantes actually have a battleship now, so they really turn this around. Respect. I'm loving this. Arabia v Greece. That is bad for Greece, but Arabia is sort of trapped behind a wall at the moment in the corner, biding their time to explode out. Soviet Union with Leningrad and Moscow in Russia. So there's still a bit of a competition there. 30 then for only 2 cities. Babylon for Arabia. Not even Arabia. Not even Babylon. But yeah, obviously it's not even Arabia's capital. That's what I'm trying to say. Paris for France. 29s for Gao. Now under Moroccan control. Obviously formerly Songhai. Garamantes with Garama, the capital, which is how they've pulled back in the game. The first of the civs to have 2 appearances is Minsk then at 28 for the Soviets. Attila's Court 27. 26 there's a few. Vienna in Austria, Mecca in Arabia, and then 2 of Norway cities, Bergen and Oslo. 25 for Attil, another Hunnic city. Warsaw in Austria, Rome in Rome, Marrakesh in Morocco is in 24, Magdeburg, Russia 24, Medina in Arabia as well, Reclaw in Russia, Berlin in Austria, Najran in Arabia. A lot of repeats there for Russia, Arabia and Austria. Madrid in Spain is also at 24, as is Gothenburg in Sweden. We'll do the 23s and then we'll stop because there's no 22s, interestingly. So, okay, that's perfect. London 23 in Great Britain, Heliopolis 23 of Mercuria, and 23 Porto of Portugal. So there's only about 7 or 8 civs that actually have a top 10 cities. That's quite interesting. Maybe 10. I don't know. But there you go. Well, not even a top 10 because that was more than 10 cities. But you know what I mean. Very uneven distribution of who has the big cities, particularly once you got towards those 25. There was only like 4 different civs between 28 and 25. Greece is probably going to kill the Ottomans, so I don't really know what the plan was there. I think they went a bit too early on the this is the end of the Ottoman train, and Greece are going to pay for it. No, sorry, the Ottomans are going to pay for it. The Garamantes have not been yet. Oh, Assyria v Spain, bit of a random one, where we might see somebody else join. Maybe it's just the beginning. That is a bit weird. Dedris. Oh, that's this one again. I was wondering what was going on there, but no, that is just happening constantly at the moment. The Garamantes haven't been yet because they're a mod, but Greece have been, so they should definitely grab Utike, which will unite this portion of North Africa for the Garamantes. They're looking pretty cool, and who knows, maybe they'll start a bit of a naval warfare. They've got some planes as well. They can do some damage to Greece here in the Mediterranean, and maybe that will finally tempt Rome into getting involved. I would suggest Assyria could be an issue for Greece as well, but I don't think they're that interested at the moment. They're fighting Mercuria, doing the world a favour, trying to box Arabia into a corner, because Arabia is looking terrifying. Yeah, I think Assyria is just going for that gamble of, I mean, these cities are well defended, but like all these smaller ones are not so defended. I think they're just throwing the gamble in, like, if we take out Mercuria, we'll be able to match them. If we don't, we're going to die anyway. So, you know, you might as well just go for it at this point. There is nothing to lose for Assyria. I'm sure they're going to be stronger over time as well. Like, sure that all these cities are going to start to stack up. Remember, when the Ottomans fell really quickly, I said it was sort of a combination of the two. But at the end of the day, Arabia only got one of the cities. Like, it's pretty sad. Oh, they got this one, like the least value of any of them. And they did some damage. They kept a lot of these. Actually, maybe, was Memphis the Ottomans? No, I think that was Mercuria. I can't remember. Maybe they got Memphis as well. But, you know, they didn't take... Maybe Elephantine. I can't remember who owned them at the time. Maybe they got these cities. I think Egypt owned them as well. It was a bit of a mess. But either way, Arabia did not get anywhere near as much as Assyria. I've been told Arabia doing really well because of the coral reefs. And I can see those are some pretty good tiles. I don't know. I don't think that was the cause of them just skyrocketing, though. There was a point where they just went and turned it. It was meanwhile Assyria were finishing off the rest of the Ottomans. For some reason, Arabia just like entered God mode, became amazing. I'm not sure that was the same sort of thing. Anyway, Cartena fell and fell back again, so very briefly. I don't think the Garamantes have been yet. Here we go. Let's see what Wallachia do. Nothing. Soviets. Okay, so those 2 very big civs in the context of things at war now with Spain. But neither of them nearby, so Spain don't have to worry just yet. Obviously losing their economy and then 2 huge wars against them in the space of 2 turns is not what you want. But yeah, we'll see how they respond. Obviously it's quite difficult once you lose trade routes. I mean, obviously you can internally produce money, but there's no way they can afford this many units that way. So Portugal will be enjoying this, but obviously at the moment Portugal facing a much bigger threat than the collapse of their economy. They are once these units are gone, and now it is looking really thin, then it might be all over. So yeah, Portugal probably running on thin ice now. And there you go, Greece is kicked out of North Africa. For now, they might get it back at least once, but yeah, it should stay Garamantes after a while. Here we go, next turn. Oh, my water bottle. Not close enough. I'm desperate for a drink right now. Should have had one before we started. Cultural heritage sites was not passed. Embargo Spain was... Okay, that just stayed there from last time, just in case I don't forget it. Solid. Definitely didn't just step away. This is all a very, very professional environment. That would never, ever happen. But we're back. No, wait, we were never gone in the first place. What are you talking about? Whoa. Greece doing quite a bit of damage. I'm sure nothing happened in the half a second I was away. Made it bigger than it was. But that's what you got to do. I think that's what YouTube's all about. Oh, there we go. See, my unprofessionalism triggered a great moment. Now to celebrate, I'm going to have a gulp of water. That's better. See, commentary going to be stepped up now. Not really, but you know, there we go. Greece is about to die to the Ottomans. Now to the breaking news. Rome versus Spain. So this is not great for Spain. We said there was big wars going against them. This is the first that borders them. Now looking at this, Spain could retake Barcelona, but obviously I think if Spain even get close to it, Rome's going to pull the safety device and maybe drop our first nuke. So it could be an interesting one. But yeah, Rome has the numbers, but of all the wars they could have declared, this is the worst idea they've had. I'm going to be honest. I think Spain are actually fine here. Spain are in a good... Despite all that's happening, I think Spain are fine. They peaced out with France recently, so that's not an issue. Portugal is very busy and occupied. So yeah, Spain's actually really safe. I'm not too worried about them at the moment. Obviously losing money from their trade sucks. But yeah, they can literally just hold the front line. Civs are very rare to use an offensive nuke. I don't think Rome would just drop one. Like, it would be when Barcelona's about to fall, they might use it, but that was it. So we'll see. They do have one out here as well. Maybe they'll use that one. Assyria keep freezing the game. That's not good. Please don't crash it. We haven't made it through 10 turns yet, so none of this would have auto-saved, and I'll cry for a long time if that is to happen. Oh, is that? That is a nuke. Mercuria still putting up the good fight for now. They will take this back, I'm sure, very soon. See what approach Spain take. Okay, they're going to push in. Let's see how this all goes. Obviously, Rome has got a lot more that they could send in. In theory, all these boats are going to come over. It didn't look very planned. I mean, obviously, all these boats, though, in the east are trapped. Like, these ones in the Adriatic Sea, they're just sat here with nothing to do. That must be annoying. Like, Greece is known for the entire lifetime of these boats that they are to conquer Greece one day. That's the idea behind them. That must be quite frustrating, just to stare at them across the waves. Right, Pharsalos did fall somewhere amongst all that rubbish. I assume not to an artillery unit, but maybe at this point, who knows. It's not the end of the world that Austria didn't get it. It expands their border, but it's not. We just saw it's not going to be the centre point of the action. And there we go, Austria and Russia one turn away from this city. It looks like Russia may actually get this one as well, which would cut Austria off, which would be quite a brutal turn of events for them. Right, Morocco's retaken this, but I'm sure it's going to go straight back again. I don't know, we're stuck in limbo here. It's not said it yet. It's currently red in name, white in borders. It's probably going to flip and then have to flip back again by the time it's flipped. Oh no, Portugal did just miss out this time, so they are starting to run a bit thin. Depends how much damage Morocco can do. It's probably going to fall once more maybe, but we don't know. We'll see. Denmark was at war with Sweden that whole time? Well, it is over now. Still not too much in the way of a successful siege for the Soviets, I'm afraid. Where did all their planes go? Oh, they're over here. I thought they were dead. Oh, wow. Russia is starting to line up a little bit on this Soviet border. They've got some newfound strength. They went and collected their Infinity Stones from the Goths. And now they're coming back for a battle after two defeats. No, two defeats. They initially lost Yaroslavia and Rostov not right at the start, but about turn 100-ish. The early mid-game, back when it was like pikemen and stuff. And then obviously they lost Novgorod a bit more recently when it was artillery. Britain completes the Manhattan Project. Okay, now Stockholm is in a bit of trouble here. The Soviets put it in the yellow. And Mercuria, once again retake this city. But yeah, it looks like Russia is definitely considering going after the Soviets again, and right when they're about to get Stockholm as well. That'd be a bummer. Okay, am I that stingy? I think there's one more turn to go. Yeah, it's 3 and 8 at the moment. That's it. 233 is where we started. So yeah, there is one more. I was going to check in the save. I was like, but yeah, there's one more we can get out of this. I don't know what like I said, I don't know what the comments were on the last video, but at the moment it's going to come out, I think, the evening I'm recording this, so a bit of a mess. I know things have been a mess the last 2 days, because I've had a deadline to get ready for, so I've had to cancel some that I was just, sprung on me. But there we go, Greece eliminates the Ottomans, they're gone. So yeah, but with regards to that finishing point, I might do, I don't know. I don't want to skip and then do the results. I'm not really sure. I'll figure it out. There's a part of me that's tempted to just do Info Addict and results at 250. And then, go and just do the skip along. But I'll see what people have said in the last episode before I commit to anything. And I probably would have said now, when you're seeing this already, I would have made that decision. Denmark v Carthage, not too important. Battle of the one city civs at the opposite corners of the map. Some more accessible than others. Switzerland also v Carthage. Isn't that like a story? Isn't that like, is it Hannibal? I don't know what his name is. The guy that walked his elephants from Carthage up through the Alps to fight England or somebody, I don't know. Not good at this mythology. Not mythology, just history in general. I think that's definitely a story. That's a pretty, there you go. Gave you a story. Might be completely lies or wrong, but compared to today's standards, that might be better than the news. I don't know. I'm just right. Who knows? Okay, Russia is still in a tough place. They've still got the Huns to the south. Don't want to mess up. They also have a ton of units. In fact, a lot more. By the look of things, they are completely stacked. Every tile is gone there. Assyria once again grabbing that city. The Garamantes have held off Greece so far, and Greece have been again, so we're only going to expect more success from the Garamantes. Spain suffering some attrition, but this could be a good turn in the overall siege of Barcelona. I'm not really sure how it's going to go, but we will find out very soon, of course. Nope. Just gonna stop now. Great. Oh, this is so close. I think they have to get it soon though, because I feel like Russia is going to attack them. I mean, not this episode, Russia's already been, but let's also see, this is Morocco's turn. It's going to be a big one. See how many units they can kill to hold on to this city, because it's the first time Portugal hasn't immediately taken it back. You'd hope Morocco can keep it this time. They have an extra turn to kill off a few of those boats. The privateer and the destroyers, those are the three they need to really get rid of. I think the helicopter might be too far. I don't know, the helicopter could probably do it, but I don't know if they'd actually risk it. Although the helicopter's an easy kill, if they have the planes. I mean, it's probably a one shot with a plane. But yeah, the destroyers and the privateer. I mean, if they can get rid of the destroyers, the city might heal enough. I'm not sure. We're all about to find out anyway. They attacked none of those units, so none of that mattered. Portugal should re-grab the city of Cartagena right now. What an anticlimax. Thanks, Portugal. Really appreciate that one. Really doing your bit. No, sorry, thanks, Morocco. Portugal didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to look away because they just take forever when I stare at them. And there you go. As soon as I looked away, falls back into their hands. Switzerland doing anything? No, they are still defending from Austria technically, but that war is as good as over. I don't think any more cities will be falling. Austria pretty happy with Bern, although it's fallen to 1 population now. So been absolutely devastated. But yeah, Switzerland's still here. They're still fairly strong. I'm so surprised Rome didn't go after them instead. It just makes no sense, but whatever. I know they've been struggling, but now while they're at their weakest, they've just lost their capital. You're at your strongest. It would have been like the perfect time for Rome to do it. But here we are. It's not happening. Okay, Russia and Austria having a bit of a war for who can't take cities in the most embarrassing fashion, but there we go. I have a feeling Russia's going to get Argos here, and Austria will get this one, and we will have the worst border war show up. That could happen. And sweet, oh wow, who is that with 6? Austria. Well, they are in Europe. They have V6. Where? Okay, Brussels. Okay, Brussels and Bern, that's 2. Vienna 3, Warsaw 4, Berlin 5. Yeah, okay, and Copenhagen 6. But there you go, the Soviets have conquered Stockholm, and that's a big blow to Sweden, and a big win for the Soviets. The Garamantes pieced out with Carthage, and end that war. But yeah, the Soviets with a pretty big win towards the end there, but obviously we saw Russia make some wins against the Goths, so those two still in a bit of a race to compete, all 3 of them really, the Soviets, Huns and Russia in the east, all fighting together. We'll see if the Soviets keep pressing for Gothenburg. That'll be interesting, but that will be it for this episode. So as always, if you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.